You're listening to the 49 Carats Podcast, a 49ers Goldmine production with Stephanie Sanchez.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats Podcast. I am your host, Steph, and my oh my, do we have a great game in store for us next Sunday. The 49ers, as we know now, they are set to host the Cowboys in the divisional round. This is a rematch of last year's divisional round when the 49ers beat the Cowboys in Dallas. This time, the Cowboys going to be playing the 49ers at Levi's. 49ers will be at home for this one, and I am really pumped for this rematch, as I'm sure everyone is. I mean, we know this rivalry goes back decades, so it's nice for it to be rebirthed a bit in these last couple of years. Just a couple of thoughts about this game. First of all, I want to say I hope Russell Gage is okay. Russell Gage, I don't know if you guys caught the end of the Tampa Bay Cowboys game. It was a blowout at that point, but if you guys were still watching, Russell Gage suffered a scary injury. It looked like his neck or something like that. So scary hit, and he seemed to take that after what happened to DeMar. I mean, we can just never be sure, and we can't overlook these injuries. So I just hope that, he's okay and, makes a quick recovery. But let's talk about this game. Dallas, I'm a little frustrated, to be honest with you, because Dallas damn near had a bye week this week having to play the Bucs. Okay. The Bucs had no business being in the playoffs to begin with. So for all the complaining and even, the Monday night game, I even thought that's kind of messed up, and whoever gets that, obviously short end of the stick. But Dallas playing the Bucs, we saw how the Bucs look like in that game. It wasn't great. So I think they're okay. I think they're going to be okay. The only thing I saw was that it seemed like Dallas suffered maybe a couple of injuries in that one. I know they lost one of their offensive linemen. So we'll have to take a look at that throughout the week and see if that impacts Sunday's game. Once again, the fact that Dallas is on a short week, some of those injuries they may have suffered today could be an issue for that game on Sunday. So something we have to keep an eye on. But look, to talk about this game really quickly, how the Cowboys played against the Bucs. Credit to Dallas defense for making things very difficult for the Bucs offense. And look, we knew that the Bucs offense was not great, okay? We knew, like I said, they had no business being in the playoffs to begin with. But, they were giving Brady hell all day. And I think this Cowboys defense is going to be a big test for Brock Purdy. And I expect them to bring a lot of pressure. They were putting a lot of pressure on Tom Brady today. We saw how that worked out. Brock Purdy actually moves around in the pocket. So I think that's a good difference for the 49ers. And so, but still, I think this will be the toughest defense that Brock Purdy has had to face since he has been a starter, without question. So, and of course, we know that the Cowboys are going to give their best effort. It's the playoffs. They want revenge for what happened last season. So I expect the best effort from this Cowboys defense. And so a lot of pressure to be put on Brock Purdy, and we'll see how Purdy handles that. We'll see how Kyle Shanahan handles that. Do we maybe see Kyle work in some quick passes to kind of neutralize the Cowboys pass rush, things like that, screen game, get that going, maybe some early runs. Those are some things you can do to counter what the Cowboys might want to do on defense. So overall, I think this game is going to be really exciting. I think these two teams match up incredibly well against each other. They're both really balanced, so they're both really good on both sides of the ball. I think that I feel like their defense got better this season, although I feel like the 49ers offense also got better. So that's what I mean. I think these two teams are going to be very evenly matched for this game, and it's going to be a good one. Man, if you're a betting person, take the over on this one. I expect a lot of points to be scored on this, regardless of both of these teams having good defenses. I just think it might turn into a shootout for both of these teams. Last time these two teams played in last year's divisional round, I believe the score was it 20 something to 17 or something like that. I'll have to pull it up. 23-17. Yeah. So I think we're going to hit the over on that. So I would expect a pretty good game. Just a quick reminder, guys, this is a call-in show. So don't be shy. If you guys have something to say, make sure to hit that link in the description. And I don't know why it says link in bio. I try to fix that graphic, damn it. But yeah, hit the link in the description of this video, and I'll have you join the show if you got anything to say about this matchup, because I'm curious. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this matchup. I think it's going to be a great one. I'm personally not scared. I mean, I think the Cowboys are a great team. That's not to overlook them at all. I think they're going to give it their best effort. But, the 49ers are capable of beating them, as we've seen. And yes, that was a year ago. But I still think, all things considered, on paper, the 49ers are the better team. So, I'm nervous. I will be nervous, of course, but I think the 49ers should win. Should. That doesn't mean they will, but they should. I have a lot of faith in them. Nathan says, Dallas got to watch for the scary fan base and scary offense. I'm sure there will be some Cowboys fans that travel out for this game, but it's not going to be a takeover by any means. When the 49ers went to Dallas, we almost took that stadium over, Jerry's World. So I think 49er fans are going to show out. I will be at the game on Sunday. I'm really excited for that. Nathan also says, hey, Steph, what are going to see Brock Purdy do for this game, and CMC and Mitchell and Debo and Ayuk, Kittle, Juice? That's the question, right? That's what it's all about. This offense just has so many weapons that if you stop one player, there's no way you can stop every player on this offense. And so I think that's what it comes down to for this team, is the fact that this offense is so good and so deep. Every single player on this offense is capable of taking the ball to the house. So I have a lot of belief in the offense. And I think that's what's going to win this game. Honestly, I feel like the defense, we might see them not look as great in this game. I got to give some credit to Dak. Okay. He looked great in this game, and the Bucs aren't a slouch on defense. The Bucs have a pretty good defense. As a team, as a whole, they leave much to be desired, but their defense, I think, is pretty good. They had Vita Vea. They got they got a good secondary. So I simply just thought that Dak played a really good game. He looked good. He was unfazed by the Bucs defense. Anything they were throwing at him, he was throwing in rhythm. He was hitting guys, and he didn't have any interceptions, which that's one thing we should talk about. The fact that he has thrown so many interceptions this season, but maybe that's a topic for my preview episode later this week. But he didn't throw any interceptions today. He looked good. So I think, Dallas is going to go to Santa Clara. They're going to go to Levi Stadium feeling good. They're going to be feeling themselves. And that could be good for them, or it could be a disaster, right? Like maybe they'll be feeling themselves too much from this win, gassing themselves up a little too much after beating the Bucs, who, like I said, had no business being in the playoffs. The same could be said about San Francisco, right? I mean, they played the Seahawks, although I think Geno Smith is a really good quarterback. Geno Smith probably is definitely playing better football than Tom Brady is this season. So, I mean, I think that's where I draw that comparison. But, I think Dak is going to have some success with the 49ers defense. They have really good receivers. I think they'll be able to get some things going. But at the end of the day, if it all comes down to both of these offenses being able to score points, who's going to be able to score more? I have never felt more confident about the 49ers being able to score more points than I do right now. I mean, the fact that they're scoring, or they're averaging over 30 points with Brock Purdy at quarterback, I think tells you everything. And even with the slow starts, even with not playing a perfect game, imagine if everything starts to click for this 49ers offense. Just imagine, and it could any week now. Any week now could happen. It's going to be difficult against the Cowboys defense, but there's so many good players on this 49ers offense that I think it's just a matter of time before everything starts to click. And we see it in glimpses, right? We've seen it in the second half of these last few games. If they could put that together for a full half, might be dropping 40 plus on people, 50 plus maybe. So I feel really good about this offense. So if it comes down to a shootout, I feel really good about this offense. I feel really good about it being led by Brock Purdy. And I think it's just going to be a really fun game. A lot of back and forth. So I'm excited for that. RJ says it's going to be one hell of a game. Can't wait. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a good game. Once again, guys, this is a call-in show. So make sure, even if you're a Cowboys fan watching this, call in. And I want to hear your thoughts on the game, on this matchup. If you're on YouTube, hit the link in the description. That is how you can join the live, and I'll have you patched in here, and we could talk some ball. But yeah, I'm really excited about this game. Like I said, I'll be there. I was really excited about the fact that the 49ers, that Levi Stadium was so electric. Like you can hear it through the TV, that how loud it was in there when we played the Seahawks. And so I'm really excited for the 49ers to be hosting yet another home playoff game at Levi's. I'm expecting some really good energy. Like I said, this is another rivalry. I mean, we got the 49ers Seahawks rivalry going. I think that gets the crowd pumped up and everything like that. But this 49ers Cowboys rivalry, I think, runs deep. So I think the crowd is going to go crazy again. Divisional round is getting more serious each and every week. So I think Levi's crowd is going to go crazy. I'm really excited to be there on Sunday. But yeah, guys, make sure you hit the link in the description of this video if you guys want to join. And I'll have you in here. We could talk some football. But I appreciate you guys being on here tonight. And like I said, I think this is going to be a really good matchup. And I wanted to point out some things from the 49ers, latest 49ers news, because I know I was talking about, oh, we got Dawson in the house. What's going on, Dawson?
Hello there.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I was just trying to find headphones that worked.
Yeah, I feel that. I might need to pop my AirPods in, but I think right now I'm okay as long as there's no echo going on. But
Yeah.
Dawson, how do you feel about this matchup against the Cowboys? How do you feel they looked today? They're scaring you at all?
Well, when you look at what the 49ers did to the Bucks, probably should have been expected matchup wise, but you got hype up Brady in the Bucks. So I just hope for a fun game, really.
Yeah, and I
I'm
think it
tired of
will be a fun
blowouts.
game. And that's really all we can ask for. I think it's going to be a game where we see the offense, both offenses, kind of score a lot of points. I mean, I don't know about you, but yeah, both of these defenses are really good, and I think this is the best defense that Brock Purdy is going to face. But I still think that it might come down to a shootout with both of these teams. Are you kind of feeling the same way?
Yeah, you got. Well, that's why I like the Raiders game a lot, since you saw Purdy struggle. So I expect same type of challenges. Seems like can he, continue to win these shootouts, score 30 every game, all that.
Yeah. Yes, that Raiders game, I think, was a blessing in disguise for this 49ers team on both sides of the ball, not just the offense, but the defense as well. They needed that wake-up call. And the best thing about it is they did it without having to lose, right? So
Yeah.
they got their wake-up call, and I don't think they're going to overlook anyone at this point. They can't overlook the Cowboys just because they beat them last year, whatever personal thoughts they have about that team. Got to put those to the side and just play football, because that's what it all comes down to on Sunday. But I'm really excited about the matchup. Nathan here says the guy we got to watch out for is Kevontae Turpin and Dak and Zeke and Pollard and Diggs and Parsons. You get his point. There's a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
good players on the Cowboys, and I'm with you, Nathan. Like, I'm not overlooking them at all. I know they're a very talented group. Um, the one player who didn't do so well today was their kicker. He
This
missed
is why you
4
pay
extra
Robbie
points.
Gold.
That's something I've never ever seen before in a game. At least for him to miss all of those in a row is crazy. So I don't know if the Cowboys are going to be looking for a replacement this week, or you think they keep it rolling with him?
Just see what happens in practice, basically, and that's why you pay Robbie Gold.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Robbie Gold would never. He would never steer us wrong like that. Roger Gill has a good question here. Who will cover Schultz? You know what? That's a good question, and it's an important one because Dak Prescott loves to throw to his tight end, and it's a very dependable target in Schultz. So it's going to be a tough matchup, right? But the 49ers, their linebackers, Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, they're both really good at covering tight ends. And so I think it's going to be a battle all day long. I think we see Schultz win some snaps, get some receptions. And I think we see Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw win some snaps. So I think it's going to be back and forth with those guys. They're all very talented. So, like I said, it's going to be a really good matchup. Both of these teams really evenly matched on both sides of the ball. So I think it's going to be a great one. Yeah, Nathan says Fred Warner. Are you worried about Schultz at all, or is there anyone else on this Cowboys offense that you're worried about?
Well, Schultz, yeah, but like you got 3 linebackers that can probably all tackle him well. Maybe whoever Diamador has to cover. That's a problem. But I think we say you say this every week. You're gonna have trouble secondary, but then the defense plays as well as it does. So.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you mentioned Diamador Lenore, someone who like I've been questioning these last few weeks or just like criticizing. I've been wondering like, can he hold it down in the playoffs because he seems to be the most the player who gives his defense the most liability, I guess. You can say the weakest link of this defense. And that's not to say that he's bad. Okay. He's very capable, as we saw this past week
I thought he
playing
played
against the
good against the
Seahawks. Thought he
Hawks.
played a
Yeah.
good game. Yeah. But you know, look, he played that good game. So like, is your confidence in Lenore restored, or are you still kind of like, I don't like this matchup for him?
I feel like the past few weeks it was just bad luck with Lenore, right? That's why you hear his name out, but then he somewhat bounces back against the Seahawks. So I'll be worried until I'm not worried. Like, see how he actually does go against them, because on paper it probably does look worse, but who knows really.
On the other hand, we saw Charvarius Ward kind of have a bad game by his standards. We probably haven't seen him have that poor of a game since the Chiefs game. And we know in that Chiefs game, he was coming back from an injury. So I'm not sure what was going on with him in this game. It seemed like DK Metcalf was just out for revenge from the Week 15 game. And, I'm leaning towards just chalking it up at that. I think he's going to bounce back just fine. I think he'll be okay. So I'm not ready to worry on Charvarius Ward. He's played some really good football this season. And if he's going to have a bad game, get it out of the way. Get it out of the way against the Seahawks. 49ers won anyway. And, get ready for the next game, So, I'm not worried about Charvarius.
Yeah. Not really worried about it.
And Nathan here says, who should guard Lamb and Gallup? I think those guys move around, and for the most part, Charvarius Ward and Lenore stick to their sides. So I don't think anyone's getting shadowed or anything like that. I don't think 49ers really try to do anything out of the ordinary.
Interesting thing about D'Amico, that he doesn't, just say, hey, you're guarding, this guy all game or whatever.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Reminder, guys, you guys can call in if you guys have anything to say about this episode. or about this game, about this matchup, make sure that you guys hit the link in the description of this video. I am literally like changing, I'm updating the layout or the overlay where it says bio, because I was not
Yeah.
thinking when I type that in. It is link in the description of this YouTube video. I appreciate it. If you guys have anything to say about this matchup, would love to hear it. We got Melissa in the house. All right, Dawson, I'm gonna
Yeah.
let you go. But stay in the comments, all right? Because I love your
Oh yeah, I
commentary
will.
all the
I got
time.
nothing else to
So
do
make
on a
sure that
Monday night.
you stay in there and add anything else, all right?
Nah, nothing else really.
All right, man. Dawson, have a good one, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. All right, Melissa, how's it going? Are you in here? I can see you, but I can't hear you. I don't know if anyone else. All right, we'll give that a break. Wait for Melissa to come back. But if anyone else who's watching has something to say about this matchup, go ahead, hit the link in the description. Make sure you like this video if you have not yet. Appreciate it. Look, like I said, it's going to be a tough matchup. This question of like who's going to guard Lamb, who's going to guard Gallup. Yeah, the Cowboys have a bunch of playmakers on offense. Don't even forget the fact that they have Zeke and Pollard, who Pollard is kind of like a Swiss Army knife for this offense. So I think that he could be someone potentially dangerous for this team because he could do a little bit of everything as a running back out of the backfield. He can also catch passes. Catch passes. So, I'm excited for this matchup, though. I think it might be a lot for the defense. The defense may give up more points than we're used to them giving up, but I think they're going to be okay because I think Brock Purdy, this offense is also better than it was last season. And they've shown that they could put up points. So I have faith that even if it were a shootout in a close game, I think the 49ers, as long as they have that final possession, they can win. So Keith says Jimmy Ward going to rock someone next week. He might, as long as he doesn't draw any penalties. Okay, I'm okay with that, but no personal foul penalties, please, Jimmy Ward. We need you out there. Roger Gill says they lost Cooper and we added CMC, and as a result, we do have the upper hand. I agree. I think on offense, the 49ers got better. I mean, the fact that Brock Purdy as well is averaging, 30 plus points a game as a starter is a good sign. And, if this, like I said, if this becomes a shootout, I believe in Brock Purdy. I believe in the weapons on offense could, overcome whatever the Cowboys throw at them. All right, Melissa, let's try this again. How you doing? Is your internet,
Hi.
is your audio okay?
Yeah. Can
All
you hear
right.
me?
Yes. What do you think about this matchup, huh?
I like the Cowboys map. Are we talking Cowboys or are we this?
Wow, your internet
Sorry.
was a little laggy there. I didn't catch the end. We're playing the Cowboys. That's what you were asking.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know if you were talking Cowboys like the future matchup or like the past matchup with the Seahawks.
Oh no, we're
Um.
talking 49ers Cowboys for this Sunday rematch.
Okay. I I wanted the I kind of got at the thought of maybe Jake Greenlaw like getting a pick on him in the regular season and the off season. So that was kind of like my like Drake Greenlaw fantasy. But I don't fear the Cowboys. Like I think I kind of want Micah Parsons like to be manhandled by our linebackers. I mean,
Offensive line.
our running backs because I quite honestly can't stand him. But aside from
Look,
that,
he's
like
he's tough though.
I think I
He's
saw
tough.
3 Cowboys go down tonight.
Yes, something to keep an eye on for sure.
I can't hear you. I want to go out again.
Okay, all right, no problem. But look, I thought Melissa made some good points. Look, Micah Parsons, really great player. Obviously, the 49ers have to account for him. She says she's not worried about the Cowboys. I'm not worried in the sense that like the 49ers should be able to beat them. I think they should and they could. So that's why I'm not worried. Ask me again on Sunday, and I might, be very worried. But that's more just nervousness. But Micah Parsons, he's a dog. He's very talented player who I think can give the 49ers in that offensive line some fits. So definitely someone they have to account for. I think he's better than he was last season. So I think it's going to be really important to see how Kyle Shanahan, how this offense tries to, uh, work around Micah Parsons and how they game plan for him, because he's a player you have to game plan for. He's that good. So it'll be interesting. Maybe they try to chip him, throw in some extra blockers. I mean, Juice always comes in handy for that. And I don't know. I mean, he'll go up against Trent Williams plenty. And if he moves around on the line, which I know he does quite a lot, that could create some mismatches. So I'm not so much worried about him going up against Trent as much as I am him going in the interior and, rushing from the other side. So things we'll talk about in my preview episode later this week. But yes, Micah Parsons is definitely someone we have to keep in mind for this matchup. Melissa, let's try this one more time. Can you hear me all right? Or can you hear this time?
I can hear you. It's just this weird thing on my phone. Like I was asked onto a StreamYard earlier with my friend Adam in his Drive to the Top, which I co-host on. And just whenever my phone gets this weird notification thing, like everything craps out, like the audio, the speed and everything. So I'm hoping no more notifications to interrupt.
No worries. You're good. I can hear you fine right now. So, finish your thought on the Cowboys, though. What is it about this matchup? You said you're not worried about them. So, what is it about the Cowboys that makes you not worry about them?
Okay, so I was watching them. My dad's a Giants fan, and I live in Jersey, so I quite honestly have to suffer the Cowboys quite a lot over here. Um, and I do mean suffer. Um, and I watched the Sam Howell game. I've watched tonight's game against Brady, and there's just something lacking about the Cowboys lately. They're very, very inconsistent. They can either blow out really bad teams like the Vikings, or they get blown out by teams like the Green Bay Packers, who were not that good at the time. Their defense is very sloppy. Tonight they could have had multiple picks, and they don't either bring it in, or they just don't care. They had a lot of injuries tonight, so that's going to be very interesting who we actually see.
Yeah, they had at least 3 that I saw. And keep in mind, I mean, we know they're playing on Monday. They got the short end of the stick here a little bit. San Francisco, on the other hand, have that extra day. So yeah, any injuries they may have faced today, which I saw at least 3. Like I said, the offensive lineman went out. I believe his was a hip injury. So if he doesn't play on Sunday, which, it's playoff time. So I think a lot of guys probably going to play through injuries, right? Going to try to at least. So something to
they
keep
had
an
at
eye on for
least
sure.
2 to 3 on their defense tonight.
Yeah.
The question though is which version of Dak we get. I mean, tonight they're like all doing they slayed Tom Brady. He came back. Look at Dak Prescott. He got over the monkey. He performed when he needed to, and that's what we're gonna have to hear all week. The player that I fear, if we're gonna like talk about like matchups like we have to take seriously, would be Tony Pollard, because he's like the one player that has been consistent for them. But the question is, do they actually play him? Because quite honestly, sometimes they play him and sometimes they don't.
I agree. It seems like it's matchup based. Like, yes, I agree with you. Some weeks they're really intent on running Zeke, and then other weeks it's like, okay, Pollard, do your thing. So yeah, who knows what their game plan will be, but I gotta imagine with how good and consistent Pollard has been lately, they run him out there a lot. And he can be someone who gives the 49ers the defense some problems, So I think it would be smart for them to keep him in. But I remember, I believe in last year in the divisional round, I feel like he didn't play as much as he could have or should have, right? So who knows what they do this week. Some really great points, Melissa. Anything else you want to say about this matchup before I let you go?
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that they had 4 touchdowns tonight and they had 4 missed extra points.
Yes. I mean, yeah, we touched on that a little bit ago. I mean, that's a great point. Is the kicker going to stay around this week, or are they going to be trying to bring some other guys in? Funny enough, I mean, he's been great throughout the season. He's been reliable. So that would just seem like something very uncharacteristic for Maher or Mayor Maher. How you say? I don't know. I'm gonna just avoid saying his last name. Their kicker. So yeah,
Either
it would
way,
be interesting. That could play a role because it definitely seemed like he was in his head like all game. And so next week,
no, some
it,
people definitely get the yips. I
yeah,
call it the yips.
yeah, for sure, especially kickers, right? And luckily that doesn't happen to Robbie Gold. Robbie Gold never, but going into Levi Stadium, very loud crowd. The fact that he missed 4 extra points in this game, that crowd is going to be extra loud anytime he steps onto the field. If he's out there next week, and that itself could bring back all the yips. So, to your point, I think that's a really good. That could be something next week if they decide to roll with him. Who knows? Maybe they bring in another kicker just in case, But Melissa, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing some of your thoughts. Make sure that you stay in the comments though, because I want to make sure that we have some of your commentary here because you always have some great thoughts.
Steph, I had one quick question for you.
All right, yeah, go for it.
Do you think that Elijah Mitchell gets more plays this week because he'll be further away from his injury? Because that's what I personally am waiting for.
Yeah, so I was actually kind of surprised that he didn't have as many opportunities because I believe the first time that he came back from his multi-week injury, the one that he suffered, I believe in week 1, he had like a ton of carries in that first game that he came back in. And I'm forgetting right now what game that was, but um they didn't shy away from running him then, so I don't know. I was kind of expecting it to be the same thing. And these last 2 games, they've been running Christian McCaffrey a little bit more and then having, Elijah Mitchell just kind of, spell him anytime that McCaffrey's had a big run and, have him sit or have him go to the sideline, catch his breath a little bit and let Elijah Mitchell get a couple plays here and there. It'll be interesting. I feel like Elijah Mitchell's kind of like that secret weapon, the one you forget about. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he could definitely play a role. I think it really all depends, one, with the game flow, and just the overall game plan of how the 49ers feel that they match up against the Cowboys and that defense. So
Mhm.
he could maybe have more opportunities. I would like to see more opportunities for him in this game because I think he's really good. He's sneaky good, I think. And
Yeah.
I feel like teams often forget about him because he's the backup, right? But to me, he's RB1B, to McCaffrey's 1A, RB1A. Yeah.
I also feel that they also forget about Brandon Ayuk and Jawan Jennings, who I think should not be underrated.
Look, Brandon Ayuk, he's getting there. He's getting there. I think if he didn't drop that pass last week, the one that would have set the internet into flames, that pass I think would have had the capability of like bringing Ayuk's name to like the masses, right? People here and there talk about Ayuk, but not on a big national scale. He has a talent to get there, right? Eventually, but there are some things that he still needs to like piece together and do consistently, like catch a ball like that in the end zone. But he's awesome. So yes, I think because of that, he can be forgotten sometimes too. But he's a great player. So
But then he
um,
bounces right back and he has that huge, I think it was like 9 seconds block for Debo, where he's like
yes,
blocking and then he unblocks, and then he blocks, then he unblocks so that way he doesn't get a flag. Like,
yeah, he's a great blocker. All of the 49ers receivers, everyone on the offense is a great blocker. It's incredible how they do that. But Melissa, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna give someone else a chance if they want to come on to hit the link in
yeah,
the description,
I wanted
call
to show
in.
something to you real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can do this. Can you see up here?
Yeah. What you got going on there?
I don't know if you can see the actual portrait or not. I'm trying to like see it and show at the same time.
Is it all George
So
Kittle?
no. So this, oh, God, I wish I could do this without the phone. So this portrait is by my friend Robert, Inspector Dabbit on Twitter, and he did
Okay. Yeah. I
these
know him.
collages.
Yeah.
Um, it's got Debo, it's got Ayuk, then it's got Bosa in the middle. Then to the one side, it's got Trent Williams, Fred Warner, and at the bottom, it's got George Kittle and Trey Lance. And then my friend Mariah, who does her own show,
Yeah.
49
No, Mariah.
Faithfully,
Yeah.
she does the giveaways, and I
That's right.
won. Funny enough, a Diamador Lenore card, because she does this weird thing where she does giveaways with the signed cards if you can guess the actual number. And so I got Diamador Lenore at the bottom with his signature, and then she sent me Charlie Warner because she knows I'm a Charlie Warner fan.
That's awesome. Do me a favor. Take like a picture of it, tweet it
Yeah.
to me on Twitter, and I'll retweet it and then I'll get a really good look at it. Everyone else will get a really good look at it too. But all right, Melissa, enjoy the rest of your night. Make sure you come back in the comments because, like I said, we're trying to get your commentary here as well. But thank you so much for joining. And anyone else wants to jump on, please
And
do so.
Steph, I would love to have you on my podcast one day if you don't mind.
Yes, anytime. Just DM me on Twitter. All right.
All right, no problem.
All right. I'm going. All right, guys. Yeah, if you guys want to join, make sure you hit the link in the description. If you have anything to say about this matchup, I know we got a few comments over here. Melissa actually made a really good point, though, about Dak Prescott not throwing in any interceptions today, but he has in the past. So let me just jump in here and show you guys what he has done this season. And let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can. Oh, okay, not that much. All right, here. This is probably perfect. All right, so these are Dak Prescott's stats from the season. All right, you can see this. What I want you to focus on is the interception row. Look at the interception row. This is from the regular season, of course. But look at this. Those are a lot of numbers in the interception column there. And I want you to notice, so he has 23 touchdowns to 15 interceptions. And there's only been 2 games in the regular season in which he did not throw an interception. And there's even some games where he's thrown as many as 2. So something to keep in mind for this matchup. He did not throw an interception in this game against the Bucs tonight. All right. But he's never gone more than 2 games without one, right? So that could be something to keep an eye on in this game for Dak Prescott. Maybe the 49ers can force him into a mistake, force him into an interception, because as we see, he is more than capable of throwing 1 or 2. So something to keep an eye on for this matchup. Now, let me get to some comments here that I may have missed. Roger here says, do you think the Cowboys are better or worse than last year? I think they're better. I think they're better objectively. I think they're better on both sides of the ball. I think they're more balanced. I think their defense was not as good last season. I think this season like I said, they're more balanced. So I think that's what makes them better this season. Nathan says, should they put in Womack, Samuel Womack? Interesting. You should ask. I don't think they should put in Womack. I mean, are you suggesting, Nathan, that he would start over Lenore, or are you suggesting having him start over Jimmy Ward? Because I don't think either of those are an option right now. As Dawson said here, Womack would be out there if he was better, or if maybe he showed something better in practice, they would consider putting him out there. But the fact that he hasn't been, I think, tells you maybe he needs another year or so. But definitely some of these other guys, I think Lenore has earned his spot. I think Jimmy Ward has definitely earned his spot at nickel. Let's see. Keith says Cowboys are true Jekyll and Hyde. That's a good point. I mean, I think they have won some games that were closer than they should have been. They've lost some games that they should have won. But I think you can say that about a lot of teams. You can even say that about the 49ers. You can even say, you can look at the game the 49ers played against the Raiders. And if you were looking at that game from an outside perspective, if you were a Cowboys fan and you looked at that game, you would say, gosh, the Cowboys can beat the 49ers. You know what I mean? So objectively, I think either team can kind of have that like Jekyll and Hyde aspect to it. But at the end of the day, I think just objectively looking at the talent level that they have, the 49ers should be able to win this game, like I said. But the Cowboys could, I think they're going to give the 49ers their best effort, like I said, the rivalry, the rematch from last season, so I think they're going to try their best. Parsons will be neutralized like Aaron Donald. God, I hope so. I really hope so. Javier says no pressure on Dak at all. I'm assuming you're talking about the Bucs. Yeah, I mean, it was here and there. I think the Cowboys offensive line did a great job of protecting Dak. So maybe we see the 49ers defensive line look better against the Cowboys because one thing I think the Cowboys are going to try to do, because they saw Geno Smith do it with the Seahawks last week, I think they're going to try to get a lot of, quick throws. And they're going to see that 49ers defensive line didn't get a lot going in that game. And they're going to try to do the same thing to kind of neutralize the 49ers pass rush. And so I think Dak is going to have some success throwing the football on Sunday. But at the end of the day, if the 49ers stop the run, I think that's the recipe for success there and eventually getting a turnover down the line. I think they can survive. But like NZ here says, it's going to be a good game. You guys are good and can beat any team any given night. Let's go. NZ, are you a Cowboys fan? If you're a Cowboys fan, that's awesome. I'm glad you Cowboys fans have made it on here, and glad you're respectful as well, because I'm respectful here too. Roger Gill says reports have said that Cowboys complain to the league about Niners have 2 more days of rest. My answer to that would be win your damn division. That, and also one can argue that playing against the Bucs was a bye week for the Cowboys, right? So I think they're okay. They won pretty handily today. The only thing is a couple other players got injured. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that and see how that turns out. Roger says we're only a 3.5 favorite, lowest since week 7. And that's as expected. The closer we get to a Super Bowl, the better the teams are going to be. So at some point, all the teams are going to be just as good as the Niners. You know what I mean? So I think that starts as early as this week, where they're very evenly matched. And we can't expect to blow everyone out every week. It's great if we do, but can't expect it. Can't overlook anyone. I think the Cowboys, like I said, they're going to give their best effort. All right. If no one else, just a 1 minute warning. If you guys want to join and have anything to say, if you guys want to join the call in, check out the link in the description. But if no one joins in 1 minute, I'm going to go to bed in a little bit. All right. So, but I've had a lot of fun talking to you guys. And like I said, last call, if you guys want to join. I'm really excited for this matchup though. And it's going to be a good one. Keith says, Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator, so he will be knowledgeable of what Shanahan does. Yeah, that's a good point. It's a really good point. Like I said, I feel like their defense has gotten better. I feel like Micah Parsons has taken his game up a notch this season. So I think it's definitely something to consider. This is the best defense that Brock Purdy has had to face thus far. So I think we're going to learn a lot about Brock Purdy. I feel like we learn about him a little more every game, but this one certainly is going to be the biggest test of all to this point. So it's going to be interesting to see how Brock Purdy responds and how Kyle Shanahan adjusts to get his rookie comfortable, because I think it's going to be really important to get him comfortable early, get some quick, easy passes going for him. And Brock Purdy just needs to make sure that he doesn't try to do too much. I think there was a little bit of that in last week's game where, it seemed like he needed to settle down a little bit. And he did. So that's the good part. But I think there's some things that this offense, Kyle Shanahan, could do to help him out and to settle down a little quicker. And that's going to be important against this Cowboys defense, because it could snowball very easily. This Cowboys defense is really good. Yeah. So, all right, guys, if no one else is joining the live, I'm going to call it, but I appreciate you guys coming on today and talking about this matchup. Keith says you are too young to be sleepy. I am on Mountain Time. It is 10:20. I go back to work tomorrow. I was off today, but you know how it is when you got to go back to work. You got to kind of like mentally prepare yourself. So I got to do all that. Okay. I got to lay in bed for like 1 hour to mentally prepare for my day tomorrow. And then I'll go to sleep. You know what I mean? You know how that is. Yeah. And you don't know how old I am. I am probably older than you think. So, but yeah, guys. All right. Make sure you like this video if you have not yet, and make sure you tune in. I'll be live tomorrow as well. I'll have shows every day this week up until game day. So make sure you guys tune in and have a good rest of your Monday night, guys. Peace.